Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the Tim Reynolds Show. And today's special is NASCAR news and review, baby. So welcome to the show, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, we're going to go ahead and revamp on some of the races that have already been through up until this point. This weekend is Richmond Motor Speedway. So I can't wait to show you guys and tell you guys about the news and the review of what's been happening so far in the NASCAR season. So let's go ahead and get started. So on the first race of the year, we started at the Clash in the Coliseum, which is over in California and LA. It's where actually they build a racetrack inside of the LA Coliseum where the USC Trojans play. Now, this is kind of cool. It's really unique the way you see online, the way they make the track and get it all set up and everything, but it's a very, very short track. So to be honest with you, didn't get a chance to watch much of this one, but it was a pretty good race at the end from the highlights that I seen, and Danny Hamlin ended up being our winner of the first kind of race of the season, but not first official race of the season. We still got a few more weeks to go before we get to the first race of the season, which is the big one, the Daytona 500, baby. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I can't wait to go check out one of those races myself. I have been to Daytona a couple of times, but for the later race in the season, the night race as they like to call it, not the Daytona 500 itself. If you ever get a chance to go check out that, you definitely got to go check it out. We'll go ahead and get to the next race of the year so far. Right after the Clash at the Coliseum, you see we pulled up in our first duel at Daytona. Now, the Clash actually used to be at the Daytona International Speedway for 2 weeks. So we would start the season out with like 2 weeks of racing at Daytona, which was awesome. That was one of the things I remember growing up that I really, really liked, really look forward to checking out. But now that we only have the 1 week at Daytona, we have the duels a little bit further ahead for the one big week. And the duels are actually the races that they use to help set up the starting grid for the Daytona 500. So in other words, you have to race your way in sometimes, especially for some of these lower tier, not as well-known programs or teams that have a NASCAR car or sponsor and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So in this first Daytona duel, Tyler Reddick for the number 45 car is the one that ended up coming out on top. Really, really good race from both of these. In the next one, the Daytona duel number 2, looks like the number 20, Christopher Bell, is the one that came out on top in that one. And like I said, still not official race yet. These are just races to get them into the Daytona 500, which is the next one that we're going to go ahead and review. At the Daytona International Speedway, the Daytona 500, the big one, this one was pretty crazy. Of course, you had yourself a handful of really big wrecks that happened in the race. There was a lot of strategy, a lot of pit crew strategy at play, and it was really, really nice to watch. And the number 24 car, William Byron, is the one who ended up winning the Great American Race. It was a really good finish at the end of it, and the 24 car came out on top. So congratulations to them and that team. The next race on the circuit was Atlanta Motor Speedway, February 25th. So we're about almost the first full month into the season, but we're only at our second official race, even though we've had a total of about 5 races to this point. Now, Atlanta Motor Speedway is one of the best racetracks on the circuit, in my opinion. And the reason I say this is because they repaved it not too long ago, and now it actually plays in races like a super speedway does, almost like Talladega and Daytona. This particular racetrack is super, super fast, and we actually had one of our best finishes ever in NASCAR history with this one. If you guys get a chance, you have got to check out the footage of this one at Atlanta Motor Speedway, February 25th, the NASCAR Cup Series. Daniel Suarez of the number 99 car is the one who ended up coming up on top, but we're talking like a hair. We're talking like there was 2 other guys right neck and neck with him in order for them to get second and third place. Ryan Blaney in the number 12 car and Kyle Busch, one of my favorites, in number 8 car, finished second and third. But I mean, barely, like right behind this guy. One of the best finishes you will ever see in NASCAR. I promise you that. And then we go ahead and move on to the next race after that was Las Vegas on March 3rd earlier this month. And this one normally is a very, very popular track amongst drivers. It is a little tricky to navigate. You do see a lot of cars tend up having issues with this particular track. On this particular day, pretty clean race for the most part, but it was dominated by a car, number 5, Kyle Larson. He's the one who ended up winning the race, earned himself 60 points for that. And now when guys get these wins, a win automatically gets you into the playoffs. So points are at a premium, obviously, but wins are what you really want to try to go for. At this Las Vegas Motor Speedway for this one, Kyle Larson ended up on top, really dominating this race. There's not much really to go over with it after that, other than, hey, just can't wait to see what the next one brings us. The next week after that, we were ending up at looks like Phoenix International Speedway. I wanted to make sure I got that right. In Avondale, Arizona. This one is actually pretty famous because it is actually the last racetrack of the year for the championship four, when we're going to figure out who's going to win the championship at the end of the NASCAR season. So this particular racetrack is very important for a lot of teams to try to see what they're going to look like if they can make it to the last race of the season to be able to compete for a championship. Now, on top of this one, finishing first and winning the race was the number 20, Christopher Bell. He already won a Daytona Duel earlier in the year, so it's nice to see him continue his momentum and be able to get a win here at Phoenix International Speedway. And then we go ahead and we hit the next week, March 17th. We ended up at Bristol International Speedway. Now, for you NASCAR fans, or maybe some of you new ones who don't know Bristol, man, check it out online. See some videos on YouTube, or go ahead and just maybe go check out the race for yourself if you ever get a chance, because, listen, this is on my bucket list, okay? This is the stadium that they hold a NASCAR race in, and this is on concrete. Now, the banking is like this, almost like Daytona, if you will, almost like Talladega, but so much smaller. This is a small racetrack, a short racetrack, and they're always bumping and racing. It's always fun to watch. And believe it or not, this one was actually a pretty clean race, which you definitely do not see at Bristol Motor Speedway. But there was really big issues with tire wear. The crew chiefs and the teams were scrambling, it felt like, all day long to just get new tires on these cars, just to be able to try to keep their speed. And then what really ended up happening at the end of the race was the team that had the best tire pit strategy ended up winning the race, and that ended up being the number 11 car of Denny Hamlin. Again, another good win. He had the Crash at the Coliseum win earlier in the year, and this is his first actual win of the NASCAR season, which is nice to see. The number 11 team is always pretty good every single year. Denny Hamlin is one of the best drivers on the circuit today in the Cup Series, so it was nice to see him get a really good win here, especially with all the tire issues everybody was having. And then this past weekend, March 24th, we had our first road course of the year for NASCAR. This one, I love road courses, man. It's kind of my thing. If it isn't Daytona or Talladega, I love the road courses. And you get to see guys really put their skills to the test, put their cars to the test, because they're not just going at these high force G circles around the track. They're actually, having to go left and right and figure out the braking. And I love seeing these new next-gen cars handling these road courses, because believe it or not, there was only 2 cautions the whole race, which actually threw me off. You just don't normally see that at a road course. People are racing very aggressively, and it's almost like a short track race, if you will, where you're expected to see some bumping is racing and some people get knocked around. Now, there was a few spin outs, but there was no cautions. There was no caution for cause. The only 2 cautions we had the whole day were actually because of stage racing. Now, this is something new. If you guys, NASCAR fans, haven't heard, stage racing has been brought back to the road courses for this year. They took it out last year, which I wasn't a big fan of, honestly, but it's nice to see them bring that back this year, because then it makes it a little bit more competitive. Now, for you guys that don't know, stage racing is something that NASCAR's been doing for a little while now, and it happens pretty much on every racetrack. There's usually 3 stages in every single one, and it actually makes it a little bit more competitive, because even though, yes, we are still racing for points, it puts more of an emphasis on actually racing the whole race and racing for the win when it comes to the end of it, because you get points at the end of every stage that go towards the playoffs, go towards seeding, and that's why it's kind of cool to see what these guys do. Plus, it puts a lot of pit strategy into play for these guys, and which a lot of people don't talk about, but that's what really makes or breaks these guys. You can be one of the best drivers on the circuit, but if you're having a slow pit crew, or you're having troubles getting consistent pit crew stops and getting stuff worked out on your car, you're not going to win races. is. So it was really interesting to see these guys on this road course really keep it clean racing, really good racing throughout. The 2 cautions, like I said, were only because of the stages. And the stage 3, we ended up getting number 24, William Byron, got his 2nd win of the year, getting the win this past weekend at the Circuit of Americas in Austin, Texas. Really good win for that team. They're hot right now. That's their 2nd win of the year after winning the Daytona 500. And it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this season plays out. And I tell you what, guys, I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for it. We got Richmond International Speedway coming up this weekend. It's a short track, flat track, so it's going to be a lot more of that intricate turning and a lot more bumping and racing for the most part. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to all my followers. Thank you to all my friends and family and the people who check out my channel. I see I'm repping the Dale Earnhardt Jr. hat today and the Dale Earnhardt Sr. jacket. I've actually only wore this thing a couple of times, guys. This is pretty cool to show you guys and to be able to share this with you guys on my channel. Thank you so much for all the support. I'm glad I finally got to get my NASCAR episode up for you guys. I watch every weekend just like I do when during the football season with football. So you'll probably see me making some videos talking about it a little bit more. So in the comments, man, like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and in the comments, tell me who your favorite driver is. I'd really like to know. And if you guys watch NASCAR, tell me what you should think. If you had some ideas of some things maybe I should cover, Otherwise, I'd love to just hear who your favorite driver is if you are a fan. And I can't wait to hear more from you guys and bring you guys more content and to be able to make better quality videos for you guys. So please, thank you. Understand this means the world to me. Thank you so much for the support, guys. I cannot say it enough. You guys rock. Have a great weekend. I can't wait to bring you guys more content. You come right back here for your sports and NASCAR. And let's have a good time while we do it, man. That's right, because that's what this channel is about. It's about sport-loving, NASCAR-loving people all coming together on a platform and be able to just share what we do, what we like, what our opinions are. And thank you for supporting me, guys. Peace!